can't believe I'm doing a mock draft this early in the season. This is a bit crazy. Is it a mock draft? Is it a draft rankings? Whatever you want to call it, really. I suppose I'm not mocking players to different teams, but I'm kind of doing a hypothetical top 10 draft order, so it's somewhat like that. Now, you got to keep in mind here, okay, I'm judging this off the small sample size that I've seen at the beginning of this season. Of course, some of the players in this draft pool had national champs from last year. They had under 17s futures games, things like that. And they all kind of go into that bigger picture. But ultimately, I'm trying to look for not just performances like historic performances that have been put down, but I'm trying to look for players that are coming through and probably have some of the upside to be able to make it at the top level. So I'm not just putting down players that have just had 30 touches in the midfield at, Coach Talent League or at SANFL level or whatever. I'm trying to do this with a lens on the AFL on what they're going to do from an upside point of view. So keep that in mind. Am I going to be a little bit Coach Talent League biased? Maybe, because I watch that league more than any other league. I'm going to try not to do that, but ultimately people are going to criticize me for that anyway. So we'll see how we go, and we'll kick off with the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is probably a little bit of a draft bolter here. I don't think I've seen him on too many other people's boards. I've gone with Hunter Wright from the Bendigo Pioneers. He's a 188 centimetre midfielder, half forward. I suppose you could call him a utility. I think he's got midfield capabilities from his 3 games that he's played so far. He's kicked 5 goals. He's had 20 disposals in those 3 games, and he just seems to be able to weave in and out of traffic when he's in at stoppage. So he's been pretty good in that area of the ground. He's used his athleticism to be able to get into good areas, set up players, particularly his kicking inside 50. He's got a nice left foot kick. Reminds me, this guy, a little bit of a Matthias Philippou when he was being drafted. So a lot of athleticism, really good movement, and he's got that little bit of extra size to give you a bit of grunt in the midfield at 188 centimetres. And the fact that he can kick the footy as well. This number 10 spot, it was really tricky for me. I was looking at a couple, like Rory Wright's had a really good start to the season. Couldn't quite fit him in, even though I would have liked to. He's another one with a really nice left foot kick as well. There's some good performances and there's some good attributes here. I ended up going with Hunter Wright. It's probably a little bit of the height and the athleticism that sort of tipped him over the edge here. At number 9, I have gone with a big-bodied midfielder in Oliver Greaves. He had a great game at the weekend for the Australian Academy. I think he was one of probably the pick of the big-bodied midfielders in that game. He has good physicality, good strength at stoppage to be able to fend people off, protect the ball space, and then bring other players into the game using his hands. Is he a great kick on the outside? I don't think so, but he does get involved in transition. He's a pretty good marking target in the middle of the ground when you want to come corridor. You get your flankers involved, and then he's a really nice target just to sit in that midfield. He does push forward and hit the scoreboard a little bit too. I'd like him to sort of neaten up some of that disposal inside forward 50 when he does get the ball on the outside. But ultimately, I think at this point, he does look like a top 10 draft pick. At number 8, I have gone for the Queenslander Dan Annable. He won the medal at the weekend in the Australian Academy game. I think he's the most well-rounded midfielder in this crop at the moment. His stoppage craft is elite. He releases teammates with hands, and he's got good physicality. I think about an AFL player, someone like a Caleb Sarong, who he's a little bit similar to. He can get the ball on the outside. He's not elite by foot. He's more of an elite by hand type player. So he's an in and under stoppage guy. At 182, 83 centimetres, he's a decent size without being anything kind of athletically special in that part of the game. He's not fast, nothing like that, but it's more of the IQ that he brings. And he has shown that he can kind of drift forward and impact the scoreboard as well. And he can win a forward half stoppage and get somebody into the game. So I really like Dan Annable as that sort of, at the moment, just that sort of general midfield option. I could see him being one that potentially, because he is attached to the Brisbane Lions at this stage, he could slip a little bit as far as like where he's bidded on, but I think he's around this top 10 mark. At number 7, I have gone for a sort of a mid-defense sort of hybrid option here, and I've gone with Sam Griller from the Oakley Chargers. I've been super impressed with what this guy's put down so far in the season. I absolutely love his pace. He's 182 centimetres and he flies off the back of the stoppage, similar to somebody like a Lachie Whitfield. Maybe he's a hybrid between maybe a Lachie Whitfield type and a Josh Kelly type with the way that he covers the ground. He's got rapid speed, this guy, so he can break lines. And when he picks up that amount of pace, he can break tackles and really open the game for you. And something I've noticed watching the AFL this season, those mids that can kind of come in, they have a little bit of a turn of pace, can really open up the game in front of the ball. They really disrupt the opposition's kind of zone and the press coming at you. So I think Sam Grill is a real modern midfielder in that point of view. So playing mostly off the half back from what we've seen so far, but I think his trajectory is to go into the midfield for Oakley this season. He's played a couple of games there already. He's hit the scoreboard. He's had around the 20 disposal mark as far as on the stat sheet. I'm not too worried about that. I just think he shows good speed, good athleticism, and ability to be able to get the ball at stoppage and then sort of break free from there. So I like Sam Griller, and I think he poises as a big riser in this draft crop. Number 6 on my list, I want a player that can control the game, control tempo, and just set the tone for your team. And the best player in the draft to do this is Josh Lindsay, the kind of halfback flanker / midfielder. At the Coates Talent League level, he's playing that midfield role, but I probably see him, I guess, playing more of a halfback role at the AFL level. He's 183 centimetres, so you do get that little extra bit of size. It's not like he's sub 180 and he's going to struggle if he does go into the midfield. But this guy is a game controller. He's a conductor. He's a composer from the back half of the ground. He can hit targets in the middle of the ground, open up the corridor, and ultimately lead to your offensive play being better overall. You really want this guy pushing higher up the ground, getting involved around that forward 50 arc and hitting the targets inside forward 50. He's got an Errol Goulden-like left foot. We saw him in that under-17s futures match last year, how composed and the targets he was able to hit to open up that game. I think he can do it at AFL level, and he's one of the best ball users in this crop. At number 5, I have Dylan Patterson. He's a Gold Coast Tide Academy player. Another one of those which is making this draft awfully compromised, but Patterson is an absolute star in the making. At the weekend, I watched him play live, and he can razzle-dazzle this guy. He can step in and out of traffic. He's got elite composure, elite IQ to be able to evade those tackles, but then release teammates particularly. He's got elite speed as well, so he can sort of play, because of the pace and the agility that he has, he can play anywhere really from a half-forward flanker, a midfielder, and he can play anywhere from a half-forward flanker, a midfielder, or a half-back flanker, really. He was playing off the halfback at the weekend, but I think his ability to be able to go and find the ball inside forward 50 and kick goals will be really strong for him. He's 183, so again, he's not super small. He's got that midfield ability, the physicality to play in there as well. And I was super impressed from pretty much every game I've watched him, that under-17s future game last year, the academy game at the weekend. I kind of project this guy as potentially someone like an Isaac Rankin at AFL level. That's how good I think he is, and that's why I've got him in the top 5. And just to remember, guys, this isn't just about the performances. This is me trying to project these guys at the AFL level. Number 4 on the list is probably no better example of that, and that is Max King, who people do come at you and say that there's not enough performance has been put down by this guy. Partly that's because he plays for the Sydney Academy and he doesn't get to play in as competitive games as some of the guys here in Victoria. But Max King has all the tools to be able to make it at AFL level. There's a little bit of the Isaac Heaney's about this guy as far as from an athletic point of view. He's 190 centimetres. He can play midfield. He can pick up those ground balls. He can be explosive at stoppage. He runs a sub 3-second, 20-metre sprint. He's got the athletic aerial jump to be able to take big hangers as well as a mid-forward sort of option. Whether he goes through at the AFL level and becomes a big-bodied midfielder or he becomes a sort of third tall forward, I suppose is still up for debate. It really comes down to what he can do at ground level, I think, for me. But again, I can't put this guy any lower just on the tools that he has and the football that I've seen in small patches, admittedly. I just think he could be anything. At number 3 is Willem Dersma from the Gippsland Power, another tall midfielder, 191 centimetres, the same as Max King. And he's another one that has freakish ability with his athletic profile. He can run, he can jump, he can pretty much do anything. He can pick up ground balls off his toes when the ball is coming at heat. He can flick handballs from left to right. He really is the total footballer if he can put everything together this season. We've seen what his brothers have been able to do in the AFL already, and his sister, of course, as well. So you've really got the family pedigree there as well. But I just think this guy, we talk about the players that can play multiple positions and ultimately give you a lot of different attributes to their game. Willem Dersma, he's shown that he can play half back and really control things from back there with his foot skills. He can play as a third tall sort of marking forward option as well, run and jump at the ball. And then in the midfield, he was able to collect 36 disposals in his first game at the Coates League level. So if he can do that, what does he need to do? He needs to probably add a little bit of physicality to his game, but I see this guy with all of the traits that he sort of has there in maybe a raw form at the moment. He can become sort of a Will Day type midfielder, pick up the ball with one hand, run around players with his athleticism, and then kick the ball deep inside forward 50 and be a real dominance from centre stoppage. I just want to be able to see that more when he plays in games like the academy game at the weekend where he played at halfback. But I'm sure we will get to see that at national championships up against some of those bigger bodied peers. And this guy could end up number one. The next one is Zeke Uland from the Gold Coast Academy again. They are absolutely stacked for players coming through that academy. It's pretty ridiculous. Zeke Uland is a 178 centimetre halfback flanker, I suppose. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound that good. Potentially based on those things and based on the fact he is academy tied, he may end up slipping a little bit more in this draft, but I'm sort of rating this more from just ranking the players individually. I think from what he's shown, he's probably the second best player in the draft. He can kick the ball 60 to 70 meters, it feels like, and he's so small. He can hit targets in that shorter sort of 30-meter range as well. He can change angles, change direction. He seems to be super physical as well when he goes into the midfield. Even at the height that he seems to be able to get really involved. He tackles, so he's defensively sound as well. He kind of just does everything, this guy, and he just looks like such a good natural footballer and the best natural footballer in the crop for me. So Zeke Uland could slide a little bit, but I've got him at number 2 and the second best player in this crop. So at number 1, that leaves the athletic freak that is Cooper Duff Tytler, the ex-basketball player, 200 centimetres, just over the 200 centimetre mark. He is a ruck. I suppose you could call him a ruck forward hybrid. He's more of a ruck forward than a forward ruck, of course, but he's so athletic. He's an extra midfielder in there for you at the stoppages. Didn't have a massive game at the weekend in the academy game, but I think he competed really well against mate Kalina from the Richmond VFL team, who is 213 centimetres. So he did pretty well in there. At one stage, he broke away from stoppage and he kicked a running goal. And it was similar to watching somebody like a Tom De Koning run from the centre circle and just bash the ball inside forward 50 and just make that distance. He's got so much sort of adrenaline in his game when you watch it. There's a lot of electricity in the stadium when you go and watch him play. He takes big marks. He impacts the game from the ground level and in the air. When he gets a run at the ball and he can fly across, it is frightening how high this guy gets. And I've seen him take centre bounces, well, maybe not centre bounces. He's taken stoppages as an extra midfielder while somebody else has gone up. So ground level skills are off the chart as well. He's been able to win clearances doing that. He's averaging 25 disposals in the Coates League as a ruck. So quite ridiculous. Are teams going to want to take a ruck in the draft at the number 1 pick? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't think teams are that stringent on those things. I think they can do it if there's one that's athletically good enough. Is Cooper Duff Tytler that player? I think he just might be from what I've seen so far. But obviously there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. All of these players, that is the same. They are some of the players that I really like to start this season. And I guess if I was drafting right now, who I would be taking with those picks. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, guys, and I'll see you next time.